Hi students, it's me, Miss Ladderback, and I'm just going to walk you through some of your learning today. All right, so today we're going to do a little bit of review of vocabulary. We're going to revisit the article on Venus, and then we're going to add some key concepts into our notebook, and then finish up with slides 14 through 17 today. Okay, so let's get started. So to begin with, I'm going to have you open up your notebook to Google Classroom. And in our notebook of our geology on Mars, we're going to add the definitions for channel, model, and reasoning. So channel, a long, narrow groove that forms where water, lava, or other liquids are flowing. Model, an object diagram or computer program that helps us understand something by making it simpler or easier to see. And reasoning, the process of making clear how your evidence supports your claim. So at this point, you can pause the video to type in the rest of the terms of the glossary, or I have taken a screenshot of this slide here and put it in Google Classroom to assist you with that. Okay, so at this point, we're going to revisit the article we read on Monday and Tuesday, investigating landforms on Venus. So I want to just hit on a few things with this article just to clarify. So Venus has a thick atmosphere. It's very hot and dense, and it has what we presume is a thin geosphere or a thin crust. Okay, this allows magma to rise to the surface, forming these domes called a novae. All right, a novae. And one of the things that our planetary geologist is trying to determine, Garay, is he's trying to determine what specifically is causing these domes, because they're kind of unique to Venus. We don't see these on Earth. So since we can't go to Venus to research and study the novae, and there's not enough information from spacecraft, and sending a spacecraft is expensive as well, Garay had to get a little creative in studying. So he used computer models and what he knew of Earth's processes. There he is right here. So he used a computer model to test whether the high temperatures of Venus's surface and the planet's thin crust made it possible for the novae to form, because we don't have these on Earth. So with the computer model, he changed some of the processes we know on Earth to create a similar process of things found in Venus. And what ended up happening was that the computer model created a dome of the same shape and size as those found on Venus. So it kind of shows that when we can't necessarily go or see material in a subject or field of science, sometimes we make a model, like Garay did here, to understand how a geologic process is made. So in this case, our computer model made a similar novae found on Venus. All right, so we're going to be doing similar things in our unit with geology on Mars. So we're going to be looking at, and I'm going to scroll down to slide 14 here, this channel. And I'd like you to go to slide 14 as well. This is a channel that geologists found on the surface of Mars. The Universal Space Agency is very interested in this channel and finding out what formed it, because it could provide evidence that Mars once had flowing water, which is a key condition for life that existed on, for life to exist. So we're looking at this channel right here, and we're trying to better understand what formed this channel. Was it lava, or was it flowing water? In your role as a planetary geologist, you're going to help the agency look for evidence and clues to figure out what formed this channel. What I'd like you to do right now is on slide 14, write down any observations you have about the channel. What do you notice about the width of the channel or the distance? What do you notice about the elevation, the depth? These are all things scientists take into consideration when they're researching how a geologic process might have formed a channel. All right, once you have your initial observations done, we're going to move to slide number 3. So you can either pause this video to keep working, or you can move on to slide 3. And here, we're going to add our key concepts 1 and 2 into our interactive notebook. So key concept 1, which we've now answered, our chapter 1 question is what may have formed the channel on Mars. So these are things we're understanding to figure out that channel. So key concept 1 was Earth, Mars, and the rocky planet can be thought of as systems. These systems are made of interacting spheres that include the geosphere, atmosphere, hydrosphere, and biosphere. In fact, this is what narrowed us down to look at Mars in terms of planets that are habitable. We compared the spheres. Now we're going to look closely at the geosphere and the hydrosphere to see which may have formed the channel. Then key concept 2, when landforms on different rocky planets look similar, it's evidence that they may have been formed by the same geologic process. That's what we are going to be looking at today, are geologic processes that are happening on Earth and comparing them to the channel that we have found on Mars. So just like the other day when we explored the Google Mars, we were looking for landforms that were created by different geologic processes. So that would be, oh goodness, this slide right here. Okay, we see the different landforms, the mountains, the craters, the hills, the valleys, channels here. We're kind of trying to narrow down our information to figure out how this channel on slide 14 was formed. So what you're going to do on slide 16, on slide 16 here, we're going to look at what geologic process could have formed the channel on Mars. Scientists use their understanding of Earth to help determine how geologic processes, such as flowing water or flowing lava, form landforms on other rocky planets. We're going to take a closer look at the landforms formed by flowing lava and water on Earth. So what we're going to look at is the geologic process cards here. If you click on the link, it'll open up the cards. And you can see initially the two different types of channels that are created. One by water, the other by lava. We're going to take a closer look at the types of landforms that are created here and look for our observations on what may have created the differences in these two channels, other than the fact that one is created by flowing lava, the other is flowing water. What differences and similarities are there between the two? So in the geologic process on Earth, landform formed by flowing water, we know that volcanic eruptions can cause dramatic changes to the geosphere, okay, the rocks and parts of the Earth. All right, so you want to make careful observations, again, on the length, the width, the depth, coloration, especially with the lava. I'm going to go to the next slide here. You have 4 different pictures of channels created by lava. I really like the one from Mexico because you can see that it definitely came from a hillside, a higher elevation, whereas the one in Hawaii on the right here is just kind of slowly moving through, and it looks a little more blotchy in terms of coloration between the two. So what you're going to do is on slide 17 of your notebook, you're going to, in the middle column, write a sentence describing the shape of the landforms formed by lava, okay, and then formed by water. So I want to specify it's the land, not the channel. So you could say that it looks a little jagged, a little not as smooth in terms of the formation. There's a color change between the channel and the land, that kind of way. Then you're going to do the same for water. So it says the hydrosphere covers 70% of Earth's surface and can change the shape of the land of the geosphere as the water moves through. This kind of makes me think of Pocahontas a little bit, the movie, because you see the winding river. So you can want to describe the land. So here I would say that the land that's formed from the flowing water is more curved. It's a little bit more shapely. The one from Africa creates a deep channel, almost has a ridge to it. If you're one that you struggle with writing your terms down, I have a word bank here that will help you create a little bit more descriptive language. So the first 2 boxes, again, you're going to describe the landform around the channel. And then the other 2, I just would like a sentence on any questions you have or basic observations around the 2. At the end of the day, you should have slides 1 through 17 completed today. So after you do this and you write your sentences, please make sure you have all those slides finished. And then lastly, in Google Classroom, there is a Google Earth tour here. My computer's taking a while to load, but it's just different landforms created by different geologic processes like Crater Lake, the Grand Canyon, meteor crater. Each of these is formed by a different geologic process. And so I thought a little mini vacation to see different things would be kind of fun to do. All right, so as always, make sure you reach out to me if you have any questions or concerns about today's work or your grade, and I can help you assist with that. Have a great day.